Hey guys, so today is a slightly lower tone, lower energy video just because the topic is a little bit, it's very bit bad. So yeah, let's not expect too many jokes or anything from me because it's not a jokey type of topic. But yeah, so let's just get into it. I guess the disclaimer for today is that I actually personally know a lot of these people. But not like present tense, like past tense. I knew a lot of these people personally, probably between the times of like 2019 to 2021. We would hang out most weeks, but we don't anymore. I haven't seen most of these people in like a year and a half. So all we have is just mutual followings on Instagram or Twitter, like we follow each other or something, but that's about it. That's the disclaimer. I always like to throw one in just in case anyone's like, but aren't you friends with... No. And so I'll be extremely unbiased and I'll say kind of what I think from that point of view, but you just have to consider that when you watch this video, that I do have some kind of a, I knew these people at one point in time. So that's, I guess, the only like bias point, and I'm not biased for any of them. I don't feel the need to defend anyone if they don't need to be defended. So that's not... The disclaimer is there nonetheless. So today we're talking about ImAllexx, who is a commentary YouTuber and online personality. Who knows what this is called anymore. And he was on just over 2 million subs on his main channel, which is the ImAllexx channel, but he barely posts on there anymore. And then he has his kind of second channel called Alex Elmsley, and that one is on about like just under 400k. I think it was on just over 400k, but now it's on under 400k. And I don't know why. I know I have my main channel, my second channel, and I also have a book channel. All of that is in the description below. But that's because they all serve very different purposes, and I wouldn't want to flood you guys with content that you're not interested in. So for example, this is the more so short form content for drama, like current events. But then my second channel is mainly for beauty content, but like long form commentaries on the beauty industry. Typically not drama, just like beauty commentaries. And then my book channel's for books. But I always find it interesting when like a lot of these commentary channels will have like their main channel and then they'll stop posting on that one and start posting on a second one, but it's like the same content that they would have been posting on the main one. Maybe there is some kind of an algorithmic explanation to that. If that fly doesn't f off. I bought this thing called the Executioner Pro, and every time I use it, I feel like Peter's gonna come for me because it feels like an execution, really. The way it zaps is, but I'm just sick. I'm sick and tired of these flies. The moment I open a window, it's like all of them trying to flood in. Yeah, he has a second channel and he posts a lot of content. Views are still okay. I feel like he has been cancelled like partly a few times, but it never has really truly like ended his career. Because when I think of like an ending to a career, I think of Illuminati, I think of Creepshow Art, I think of people that it got to the point where the views were so low or they were getting so much hate that they just like stopped posting, right? That's what I think when I think of a cancellation. I think as long as you keep on posting and it is still like a reasonable income, I don't think you've been successfully cancelled. And there are so many people, James Charles, not successfully cancelled. Tati, not successfully cancelled. Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, like those people technically were cancelled, but in reality, they continue to post and they continue making a really good income from this job. And that's how I look at Alex. Like, he has been cancelled in the past for saying the N-word, and then he, I think, apologized on Instagram stories, as they all do, or like an Instagram live stream, I think, and that was a few years back.
Yeah, I know people have been bringing up that old video of me on Twitter a lot recently, and I understand why, and I get it, and I have addressed it on multiple podcasts. I've addressed it on multiple Instagram live streams. But it's obviously, I'm not going to hide away from it, and it's important for me to address it now. A lot of people know the video in question. I deleted that video because I don't stand by that video, and that video was fucking stupid. And there's no excuses for that video that I made. The context of the video was I was calling Tana Mojo an idiot because she called somebody a racial slur, which is obviously fucking horrible. Now I personally believe, because I wasn't calling somebody it, but I was talking about the word in context, that it was okay to say. It obviously wasn't. It obviously wasn't okay to say. And in the context of that fucking video anyway, it doesn't make it any better. Just because I was saying it's bad to be racist doesn't mean it's okay to fucking use that stuff. And the video's old and it's removed, and frankly I'm ashamed every time I see it get tweeted at me. It really makes me fucking sad, because I know that I shouldn't have done it. And that's why I removed the video a few months after I fucking made it.
And then we had the Slazo situation, which I'm going to touch on ever so slightly. But yeah, so there was the Slazo situation. He accused Slazo, who was his friend, of being kind of like a groomer slash essayer slash like an abusive boyfriend. And that ended up being false. And it was kind of proven to be false. And then Slazo basically disappeared off the internet because it was just so tainted. Even though people believed him, I think he just kind of felt like it was all just a bit tainted. Like just, I guess it takes the charm out of doing YouTube when you've gone through that. And so then a lot of channels with millions of subscribers and millions of views have called him out, but he continued to post through it. And I think his main audience either didn't watch those channels that called him out, or they didn't like trust those channels to be reputable sources of information. So they were just like, we're just gonna keep on watching Alex's content and that. And then he started hanging out with a lot of like TikTokers, and that was back when I was still hanging out with him. I think he was still hanging out with a lot of TikTokers and kind of going into the TikTok scene, the short form content, and then he started making YouTube content on the short form content, and I think that opened him up to a whole new audience that didn't know about the Slazo situation, and I think that's how he was able to slip through the cancellation, you know? We have some other characters sprinkled into this drama. So we have Alex in the middle of it, and then we have all his friends. He used to be part of the E-Boys, which was James, Mario, Willany, ImAllexx, and Alex, right? There's like 4 of them. And then we have iNabba on the side, who was not part of the E-Boys. That was actually a drama in itself. But he was obviously hanging out with them, and then they all made content together, and they have been making content together for a few years. And then we have all the other people. It'll be like girlfriends, ex-girlfriends. Yeah, it's become really messy. And then just a lot of UK YouTubers, to be specific, speaking out about this. We have like Jay from the TGF Bros speaking out, and his take was interesting, and you can tell I'm like, I don't even know where to begin with this story because it's become such a mess. But I have a bunch of the documents, I have a bunch of extra stuff that I've just been on Twitter for the last like 72 hours and just refreshing and just seeing what's happening, because a lot of people are posting and then deleting, and so then it kind of helps that I've been chronically online for the last few days because I have all of it. There's this account on Twitter, Samuel with 2 A's, and essentially that account on Twitter has been posting all of the screenshots, so they're chronically online as well, and then just posting stuff, and it's been super helpful. So if you're ever in doubt about what's been posted, that account on Twitter, I guess, has everything and just constant updates about this whole situation. It's become like an actual, like everyone's tracking everyone, and you know. So let's just start from the beginning. Alex has dated, well, been in a relationship with and lived with his ex-girlfriend Alice, who, now Alice sounds very similar, so I don't know how I'm just gonna try and enunciate just so that we're not confused. But yeah, that's his most recent ex-girlfriend that he's had. He has had 3, and I personally met one, the one in the middle. So I didn't meet his first one that's come out with allegations, and I haven't met Alice because I haven't been hanging out with them since then, but I have met the middle one, Jess, who has also released her own experiences with Alex. So that's another point of, like, I've met her, I didn't see any of the stuff, but then again, like, I wasn't too involved in other people's relationships, and they kept their relationship pretty private. So there were inklings, and I was saving stuff and bookmarking stuff on Twitter for a while before this was released, because Alice did hint at stuff on her TikTok account with different kind of, she would post a TikTok and then delete one or post some texts that now is released has been between her and Alex. But it was kind of like going around, people are talking about it, but she hasn't spoken out yet, and she was filing some police reports. I know that she didn't feel like she could talk about it for a while, and now she has finally spoken out about it on Twitter, and she has basically posted an 5 or 6 page Google Docs document documenting messages between her and Alex, videos that she has filmed of him, screen recordings, screenshots, voice notes, stuff that he has sent her, like, you know, the whole thing. So she has posted on the 15th of June, here's my statement on the situation I've been scared to speak out on. It's best it was made public how horrible this person with a platform is. I'd hate to see another woman go through this. Please read the statement first before continuing. And there's like a first statement bit in the Google Docs that you can read, and then there's all the other stuff. So if you don't read the statement, you might be confused about some of the stuff coming out. And the thing is, it was played so many times, like all the different clips on Google Docs, and they were opened so many times that it exceeded like the amount of times that you can play something back, which is insane. Like it got so crazy. But yeah, so that's the whole Google Docs. There is one that says dog MP4, follow me after he kicked me and I'm packing my things, I'm gonna bash your head against the wall, it wasn't your fault. Then there's a statement which says read first on it, that's why I'm a pro and you're not, won't leave me alone, your life might be down the drain. There are a lot of channels that have posted like full voice notes and stuff. I'm not going to do that. This video will be 2 hours long if I do so, but I'm going to try and condense information. So the first statement is mentions of SA, suicide, depression, and assault. This is a sensitive subject for me as I have struggled to figure out how to put it into words. I have been threatened by Alex to not come out with anything at all and to keep quiet, or he will create a contradicting story to discredit my own, but I'm not scared anymore. No matter what is said in response to the statement, I know I've said my piece and I can move on with my life. I made this document as a compilation of my experiences while being with Alex and have put screenshots of these accounts under the corresponding paragraphs. This will be a long one, as I want to start from the beginning so you can understand the full story and heavy burden this has been on me. So they officially started dating March 2023. At first started with like all effort, all attention, no arguments, and then slowly small things started popping up that were big issues. So he would want her to be able to call him 24/7, shut out any other social interactions she has with her other friends. So she would then invite him into her group so that she could still hang out with her friends while he felt like she was always giving him attention. These small arguments worsened to the point where he would turn on his camera and start shouting at me on call, because they would have Discord calls if they weren't together in person. He's gone as far as to tell me to self-harm at this point after I told him about my history prior, and then he would send horrible messages calling her and slimy, and then she posts obviously some of the messages. So he says now or no, and she says, I'm with everyone but I can leave, don't worry, I'll just go to bed. Okay, lol, what a day. I guess everyone has got something better to do. Nobody wants me around. It's class. I love this. I love it. Which is such a manipulation tactic. She should be allowed to hang out with people other than you. She says, well, really? She says, after asking for a break, join, go on it now, join, child. And so he wants her to, I guess, join the call and just spamming her phone with, trying to get her to respond. She says, you can't give me 10 minutes to calm down and then talk. Am I a mind reader? You hung up on me before I could say anything. You effing arsler, ha ha ha, you knew. Stop calling me Alex. How much dad pissed me off? Cry, I don't care. For why? Because I'm in a state. Okay, well, forget it all then. I did all I could. No, you literally said, if this is the best you had to offer, and I ended up with someone like you, then I guess that's literally it then, considering where I am, but you can't do that. Idiot, talk. You text like an arsler, so call me. You say everything wrong on text because you're f***ing stupid, so call me. Bye, f*** you, weird f***ing idiot, you win. So obviously just very angry. She says, please don't be silly over this. I'm just scared of annoying you. Yeah, good. It's all good. Another time. And then he's obviously asking to like hang out with her. So she says, yeah, sure. No, like once your work is done, like when you aren't stressed out. And he says, I was fine with today. I'm nearly done and thought you could help with the HelloFresh stuff. But yeah, just do whatever. I said the other day I wanted you to ask me to come over, etc. And if you don't want it today, let's not do it. Kind of the opposite of what I wanted. So let's leave it. I got stuff to do. I said I want to once your work is done, and I asked if I can after. I'm going to go back to work now. Talk later. So he just seems just all over the place. Literally asked you if I can after your work. He gave mixed signals here, just like, well, I am. You can reread and see why. And then she obviously highlights what she said. You didn't listen the other day, I guess, when I told you I wanted you to make me feel like I mattered a little more. And then just that argument continues and continues. Stop talking to me. You're unbearable to talk to. I can't cope with it. You got what you wanted. Please f*** off permanently. Oh my god. F*** off. I hate you genuinely. You set this up. And you can see how from just such a, like, on his part, misunderstanding, I think she was being pretty clear about what she was saying. It just turned into him having a breakdown. I don't even want to go with you. What's wrong with you? Then I tried cheering you up. He said I'm annoying, literally f*** off, you stupid. So after screaming at me in calls and disregarding everything I've ever said, he would explain how it is always my fault and that I should apologize, that I should fix it and fight for him after he has made it worse by completely dehumanizing and degrading me. I would get breakup threats because I interacted with my followers' tweet, which I would then apologize for after he made it very clear he was upset but demands more from me. It's insane as a YouTuber to be angry at your partner for responding to like viewers and followers' tweets. Like, unless they're sexual in nature, he should know the most in this job that you should be interacting with the people that watch your content or follow you or anything like that. This would be followed by him continuing to call me a threatening. I'm going to refollow everyone I unfollowed for you if you're going to be like that. Which, by the way, I found later on he was still interacting with many people he had old relations with, and found him stalking his ex with her old nudes on his phone. Calls her weird again, that you will die for liking that tweet. I'm going to go refollow the people I unfollowed for you. If you're going to be like that, then it can be like that. How do you not understand I hate you, and how even now you're on purposely being so dense? Because I know you know I'm right. You're just going to be difficult on purpose because it's what you do. I don't know why you make everything hard and you literally just can't sit and roll over on something so tiny. I said sorry, wasn't that what got us here? I'm going to link all the horrible messages that have been sent to me that consist of him calling me unlovable, whore, psycho, constantly calls me sick, tell me he doesn't want to be with me, breaks up with me, then takes it back. Then after all these arguments, he apologizes and love bombs me for forgiveness. For context in regards to me, I have depression and he made it severely worse when he would insult me and make me feel like he doesn't care or love me. Kind of hard to stay happy every day dating someone who said these things so easy to me. And the thing is, he has been so open about having depression himself, and then he uses that against her and expects her to be this like perfect butterfly who's just going to be happy about everything, while he constantly talks about his depression online and cries about it and gets sympathy for it, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. But he doesn't extend that same grace to the people that he allegedly loves or is in a relationship with. Calls her a freak in one of the texts, calls her ungrateful, why can't you get that through your thick skull? I don't like you, I hate you, you're dumb. I genuinely think I've completely fallen out of love with you because you simply just don't try. Too much work, you're stressing me out. When I say I changed, this was because Alex had a very big issue with me when I sounded sad. If I woke up sad after I explained to him that I'm depressed, I had to calmly approach him and watch my tone when I couldn't even get out of bed. I end up hanging up if he reacts badly and screams at me because I'm fed up with the abusive screaming and I'm tired. I can't be asked, literally conceded because it's pointless. But if it's not good enough, then off, weird girl. Your moral mate can stay blocked off. Like, this is just constant. Tells her to die off, then die, like constant. You don't have any grip on this. Stupid woman, I don't want you. Go away, I want to be alone. I love you, idiot. Please, though, give me an easy ride. I feel dreadful. Are you okay? Dumb question, just thought I'd ask. Sorry. Because of the word I don't care about earlier. So he jumps from these, like, he's okay 1 minute, and then he's over a misunderstanding, has a go at her, tells her to die. And then suddenly he's just like, yeah, I'm okay, it's just the weather. Like, I'm not sure the weather is the problem here, even though it has been dreadful in the UK. So done, no, it's over, we're over, I hate talking to you, no understanding at all, let's break up, I want to break up, I don't love you, I want to break up. But then it's like, whew. Got to point in arguments he would poke until I gave a reaction, calling me names until I finally snapped. Whenever I would react, I would be threatened with a breakup. You delusional bitch, go away psycho, the craziest woman I've ever met. Calls her a jobless freak. Imagine trying to teach arselers like you and my mates how to do this. It's annoying. You don't. And this is about conversation. There's also a clip of him saying it.
But that's why I'm a professional and you're all not.
But he thinks he's like the best at the job. No one can do YouTube better than him. Like, he's the expert. If he says something, that's how it is. He tries to give everyone advice, but like advice in a way that's super condescending. Like, he knows best. And if you were doing better than him, he would still try and give you advice on how he would do it better, even though you were doing better than him. But apparently he was trying to teach her how to like make 6 figures from this, you know, whether she should post YouTube videos or stream or something. He was gonna like give her his professional expertise. Yeah, calls her a jobless freak and says, imagine trying to teach arselers like you and my mates how to do this. Even though YouTube as a whole is mainly luck, mainly at the beginning and trying to hit the algorithm, and then it is hard work, yes, to keep a consistent schedule and appease the algorithm gods, but really and truly with the way you start on YouTube is luck, and it's if the algorithm likes you or not. So I don't think, yes, like if you're Mr. Beast, and then it might be different, you might have like a way of doing things that works for you. But I always find it so funny when there's like content creators on Twitter talking about these are like the 10 ways to beat the algorithm, and they always get like 10,000 views a video, and it just goes to show there isn't really a rhyme or reason to it. It's more just getting lucky with the algorithm, essentially. You should be grateful. Someone with the expertise I actually have tried talking to you about something like that. Like everyone else, the stupid idiots who think they know better than their only man who has actually done it all successfully. Calls us small-brained, go do it on your own. Emotional level of a brick, just say yes, you dumb, you're thick, man. You're a girlfriend, genuinely bad at it. You're a dumb with the literacy of a child. You have a permanent attitude. Talking to a brick, maybe don't be a dumb. And then uses the N slur, N-word. That's just the truth, idiot. So you wouldn't understand. Kill yourself. I just told you to make 6 figures, so off, it's annoying. She obviously sent him these long paragraphs explaining how she feels. And then they went on a holiday together to Italy in July, and an argument came up because they were watching a video about how women will become hypersexual if they've gone through SA of some kind, and that's kind of like a trauma response. And then she opens up to him about her trauma response with being SA'd by a different man. He gets upset about it. He basically responds that he doesn't want to know what has been done to her by other guys, and he said that she was bringing up weird on our first holiday, you ruin every moment. I have no fond memories with you. And then there's a text attached and it says, because you're weird, bringing up weird on our first holiday, ruin every moment. I have no fond memories with you, actually none. And then he cancelled coming to see her on her birthday and went to see Star Wars with his friend instead of seeing her. He was looking to move his house and then she helped him. He assumed that she was going to move in with him without asking her beforehand, and she said, I'm scared to move in with you because of how you treat and insult me, and begged him to stop doing it and that he had to change. I end up calling him when he is standing up for myself. No, it isn't pretty. He says, I'm tired of life lessons. You ain't got all real on. If you can't apologize, block me, leave me. I got more important shit than your feelings. And he says, keep pushing, you lost. Just accept that you were being a dumb woman and move on and go. How can I actually help you? And then he says that he did everything he could, push his videos back to accommodate you, offered to bring you a headset, and then you start going on about how you're scared to move. Just die in a fucking hole. You sad little. Please bury yourself in the garden. You were like this when we met. I'll be fine without you. You are nothing without me. And I am only reading his text mainly and rather than hers because it's him with focusing on. I'd save a lot of money having to carry you around I don't really know what he means. Anniversary, we didn't make it. I'll take someone else out next week. You have to stop and learn to shut up, start working, get a hobby for the love of God. Fighting people in comments is low life behavior because you had to make it this because you're a melt. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to break your neck. And I think this is the one that people really focused on, is him obviously giving her like a massive threat of violence there. And then he says, I'm very sorry about yesterday, and I know I crossed the line when I was angry. It isn't right to do. No matter how mad I am, I'm sorry I went that far. So after the argument, the same month is when we moved in with each other. This is when things got more real for me, and I decided to start noting things down, recording and texting my mum. And so she would text her mum and her dad, and they would basically both be like, this is like disgusting, you shouldn't be treated this way. But it's obviously hard to leave in these situations, and I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, why didn't you leave at the beginning? And people just don't, like, you can't really get through to people like that. That's just their opinion, that's what they believe, and I just prefer to ignore that because it just doesn't, you just can't get through to people like that. So he would scream in her face, telling her to kill herself, giving her the silent treatment. He became super secretive over his phone, and then he was stalking his ex on all social media platforms. And then he also had her nudes on his phone. And then obviously she posted some screenshots about the being secretive about his phone. And then there's the bit about 20th of December. Basically, they were getting she was getting the house ready for his parents to come over because it was a mess. So he must have thought I was angry at him because as I'm cleaning the kitchen, he was constantly asking me if anything's wrong. I tell him multiple times I'm fine, nothing's wrong, I just want to clean. He starts shouting, getting hysterical, thinking I'm lying and that I'm pissed off. So he would ask for tasks he could do to help in panic. I tell him to wipe the sides of the kitchen counters, take out the bins, etc. And then he starts screaming after I gave him more than one task, telling me he can't handle more than one at a time. So after he overacts, I start to walk away. On my way out of the kitchen, he kicks me in the back and I turn and say nothing. So he literally can't do more than one task. Makes sense why his house was a fucking mess. You psychotic freak, not dealing with you. And then yeah, so she takes her friend to pick her up. She starts packing. He follows her around the house saying, you know, N-word at her, calling her useless. And then he basically destroyed a bunch of her equipment, including 2 monitors and a keyboard. It was a £4,000 setup, and there's the screenshots of her like monitors being damaged because he would just like throw them kind of in some bags and stuff. And then after they finally ended the relationship, well, she ended it, he tried to manipulate her, telling her that they just need more time together to make things better. And then obviously you get the text of him just constantly blowing up her phone, saying he misses her, to answer the phone calls, to apologize. And then he like basically thinks saying that the house is all clean, I just put the bins out, is like gonna get her to come back. And she basically says, and I'm glad she said this isn't hot, it's basic living, kid. Then he's messaging her on other platforms, Instagram and all sorts of different places. He even ends up making a second account on Instagram just to message her because she wasn't responding. But yeah, there's way too much of this. And then she sends him a final paragraph basically saying like, no, like we're not gonna get back together. I wish you the best, I guess. And then he sends her a 30-minute voice note and then another 12-minute voice note.
Sorry, my phone cut off. It wasn't acceptable behaviour, like in any way, shape or form. It was insane. Like, I guess I've just been stuck in that cycle for so long that I felt like I could do no wrong. I felt like I was the, you know, oh, look at me, I do all this work and I do everything and I try and do this and, you know, just nobody's appreciative. And, you know, I know you appreciated it and I know that you appreciated the effort that I used to put in. And then I just stopped because I had you and you're my girlfriend and we lived together, and the more further we got through our relationship, the less effort I put in. I didn't listen to you. You were right. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. I was impossible to work with. I didn't make it easy. I constantly thought inwards about myself and not about you and what was going on. I didn't make any attempts to change. I didn't make any attempts to fix my life. I made excuses. And it got to the point where I wanted to be alone, because if I was alone, nobody could tell me that I was up and that I was doing anything wrong. You don't have to be a part of this. You don't have to have this happen. I should have done this in my own time, on my own accord. But I chose to bury my issues before fixing them. But it's not you. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Like, you're not responsible for this. You're not responsible for what happened. You tried your best. It's nothing to do with you. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you're lesser or because you have issues. It's not because of that. Like, you were fine. It's not because you... It's not because of you. It's nothing to do with you.
You were so open with me about so many things. I knew how you felt about all the stuff that I used to make excuses as to why I was feeling that way. Sorry. Like, I knew how you felt about everything. We spoke about everything. We covered everything. We buried everything. We'd have conversations about everything. You know, I just remember moments with you where I was my happiest and, you know, sat in your bedroom, just me and you, just lying there together. And, you know, it should have been that all the time. And I'm so sorry, Alice. I'm so sorry. I let you down. And, I don't deserve to be forgiven. I don't deserve anything. I should be held accountable for my mistakes. To you, it was wrong.
And then he says, also understand the crying isn't really acceptable, nor is saying I love you. I should have left that out. It takes away from what's important, which is how I treated you. I don't want to not reach out and apologize, though. I didn't take responsibility for how I treated you, and I felt that wasn't right. So he obviously admits everything. Now, there are channels that have posted, that have basically just put the whole 40-something minute long voice note into their video. I think I'm just going to keep just the key bits just so you get an idea, but it is in her Google Docs document that I'll link in the description so you guys can access that, or you can just follow the different pages on Twitter that post the whole stuff. But I just don't think it'll be right for me to post a whole 40-minute voice note in here. But he basically cries the whole time and says that he's sorry about everything that he's done, and that kind of proves her case here, right? Is him admitting fault. Then he sends her an Amazon package and there's a note in there, but he's like, once again, just saying so. He's trying to get to her at any cost possible. Then he also sends her a letter, but it's just the same stuff, so I'm not even going to go over that. And then since all of this has happened and public have speculated on their own from my vent posts and interactions, which I want to tell you is a cry for help, not attention, I've had threats of story manipulation from Alex, so I want to clear these up before he gets the chance to try and victimize himself and disregard everything he's done to me. I'm not afraid to own up to anything I've done because I only ever reacted after the abuse was drilled into me. And he says, I hadn't messaged you in weeks. She says, keep it that way. But the stuff recently doesn't seem like it's going to end, and I feel like I'm being backed into a corner for something you did. Oh no. I was hoping I could settle our issues personally. The people spreading this are people who already hate you. I saw your notebook posts and read what you said in our messages, and I thought we could talk about it. Look, I let you down more than anything ever. Like, I don't have the words to express my sorrow. We have the right to a private life. I don't want to talk about you. Venting to our friends, I understand, but this makes this whole situation harder for both of us and takes it to an unneeded place. I mean, it just makes it harder for him to keep on making his 6 figures a year that he's so professional at. And if you were so good, you'd be able to avoid this cancellation too, but I don't think he is. He says, I insulted you and I shouldn't have kicked you. Trying to pull you towards me in an argument was wrong. So that's him once again admitting what she has said. And I actually have never said you abused me. I said it was toxic, but I understood why it got in there. So once again, he says, you are not abusive. It just got toxic because of my abuse towards you. It got toxic. But he's literally saying, I never said you abused me. So if he tries to come out with that story now, bullshit. And then he says, don't you want to move on for us? I mean, peak manipulation. Like, we've all known a man like this, you know? Maybe the guys, the 5% of the guys watching my channel know a woman that they've dealt with that was like this, but I'm mainly speaking to the female audience, I guess, because I am a woman and I've only dealt with men, but we've all known a man like this. Alice, right now, you are really trying to make me say something that you will use to hurt me with. I don't want to talk about you hitting me, and I found the text about the cat. Because I didn't, and you'd be lying when you said you punched me. I didn't punch you over a cat. Lol, is this you saying you're going to use that? Because do it. Then I'll post you calling me N-words and abusing me. No, I'm not, but right now, you are pushing against me with witnesses. Why? I never punched you over a cat. I mean, even if there was basically this thing about him threatening to like hurt her cat, and I have my Phoebe, which you guys know very well, and if a boyfriend that I was dating threatened to hurt Phoebe, I would like be willing to kill him. Like at this point, like she's literally the love of my life. So if she slapped him because he was threatening to hurt her cat, in this case, I support women's rights and wrongs because you won't stop. I have stayed dead silent and it isn't enough. And then she posts the cat stuff. Yeah, it's just proof that he was being weird about the cat. He was joking about taking him away and why I would let someone who told me they'd break my cat's neck near my cat. So an argument around mine, so there is no text. And then he basically says that she has punched him in the face over the cat. She says she didn't. So that's basically the whole document. I didn't obviously go through the absolute whole thing. Yeah, so let's get into the clips. That's really what's been making rounds on Twitter. We have the dog one where he essentially degrades her and calls her a dog.
Thing about you, and this is the thing, and this is why I go round and round in circles. I join call, and when I'm getting, you're talking to me, going, this is the thing. Even though now, when it's too late, you admit that you did everything wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good dog, you don't do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing, because you end up admitting that you it all up anyway. So it's just weird. And I know that you're going to end up admitting that you it all up, which is why it's
We have the following her around after he kicked her when she was like packing up to leave.
Over what? I don't understand. It's not like you've got anything to be stuck up over. But for some reason, something isn't good enough for you. You have to do whatever you all day. It's like, and then you look like a miserable little all the time. Like, your face is annoying.
I'm gonna bash your head against the wall, which is probably the more like viewed one.
Sorry first.
So I'm a mouth.
Is it generally because you're just brain dead?
Yeah, I'm very brain dead, yeah.
Is that why you decided to go on the offensive instead of the
Didn't go on the
maybe?
offensive.
Okay. I don't know what to call what you did. It was weird. It's always weird. You always take the weird route. Just do the normal route, which is just do the normal route, but a normal girlfriend
You're
would do.
acting
And go,
like
I
this
didn't,
is
I didn't
all
mean
just
it.
me, and that's something you really need to fix.
I'm gonna bash your head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the up. You because this one, genuinely, this one, you this royally. This.
And then we have that's why I'm a pro and you're all not.
What judging mental is, I think I may have said like 100 times to the point where it's actually really hard to follow what I'm saying because it's so flexible. I've gone, you could do this, but you might be able to do that, but you might be able to do that, and you might be able to do this, and this might work, but you might be able to do that, and it sounds mental. I don't even understand how you could possibly actually follow along to it. Like most of my friends struggle to actually understand what I'm saying, but that's why I'm a professional and you're all not. Because and then when you go, I don't like this, it's annoying.
And your life might be down the drain.
Like massive issues there, and you think you can just ignore them because like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I don't know. Your boyfriend's a famous internet celebrity and doesn't trust these people because he has to keep his circle small. Because you might not have anything to lose, because your life might be down the drain, but I still have quite a lot that I would like to give. You're making it incredibly hard for me, just like Lewis did.
Yeah,
I hate all of you. You guys are like I can't make any videos of Paul Breach.
So that's kind of just the ones that we've seen on Twitter. Like I said, there is that whole thing about how it wasn't her fault and it's like 30 to 40 minutes long. I'm not going to play all of that for you guys, but I might just try and cut it down into concise clips so you guys can get an idea of that and him basically just admitting fault and saying that she's not at fault. Now, if you think that's the end, you thought wrong, actually. You actually thought wrong. We have statements, we have more allegations. Now, I'm not going to go over each allegation in full detail, but we have King Annie, who is on Twitter. She posted her allegations against Alex, and she's kind of the first girlfriend in chronological order, but she was actually involved in the Slazo situation, so when she spoke out, she kind of skimmed over the Slazo stuff because she was also falsely accusing Slazo of stuff that he didn't do, and now people are saying like, it's interesting that you're accusing him and blaming everything on him when there are literally tweets of you accusing Slazo. So, but she claims that she was almost like manipulated into that. So people are kind of taking her situation with a grain of salt, but it definitely adds context to this whole situation. But she basically just says that he was just being really toxic and just wasn't a great boyfriend. But most of their relationship was long distance, so it was easier for her to avoid some of that toxicity with him. And then they just broke up because it was long distance. And then he posted that crying video on YouTube about how his life was falling apart. Then we have Jess, who is the second girlfriend. She mainly discusses him being super toxic with her, super controlling. He would say stuff like he hates her friends, wouldn't take her feelings into consideration, things like that. But she also linked this text that he sent to someone saying, "Yo, where's Jess? I'm very angry at Bart. I'm going to kick her head in. Now I'm locked out. Might kill her. Might actually kill her," which is his character. Like, that's how he spoke about Alice and to Alice. So that's the second girlfriend, and then Alice is obviously the third girlfriend with the similar allegations. Then we have some statements, okay? Let's get through all of these. I think everyone at this point has spoken out, and then Mimulus responds, and he also thinks it's all like disgusting and his behavior is awful and stuff. But then he also posts a follow-up statement saying, just to follow up, Alex and I lived together between 2018 to 2022. They started dating in 2023. I've only seen him in person 2 or 3 times since moving out. I don't socialize much at all in the typical UK YouTube circles, especially in the last couple of years. I only found out about the situation in general on April 2nd of this year when a fellow content creator brought it up to me in a call when I suggested a joint recording between us and him. He said he didn't know any specifics or what was being alleged, just that it was bad. What I heard prior to this is that they have argued frequently. And then she was obviously posting all the kind of like subtweets about Alex. And it wasn't until just after that I got a bit more clarity when I went out for dinner with another creator and they brought up the fact Alice had briefly published some text messages from him on TikTok before deleting them. I knew it was bad and I didn't know just how bad it was until I went over all the information when it was made public. And then Will says, firstly, I really hope Alice is doing well and commend her massively for having the courage to get that out there. As Mia mentioned, there were rumours of his behaviour early last year. Myself and a few others haven't had contact with him since or been his friend for even longer. With that being said, the severity of the abuse that Alice published was far worse than anything I'd heard being discussed. The Google Drive is abhorrent and what he put her through is inexcusable. If you're wondering what Mia said, she said, this is something I've been aware of since May last year and it's something that in my opinion is well known throughout the industry. I can't speak for people who aren't in our group or who I don't see regularly, but the openness at which this was discussed amongst people last year, I genuinely find it hard to believe that creators close to Alex had no idea this was going on. When I found out Alex and I were signed to the same talent agency, I immediately made them aware of the accusations and put pressure on them to drop him, which they did. This was June 2023. From the documents in the drive, it looks like things escalated even further from what I was aware. Emotional abuse, threats of violence, use of racial slurs, and is so heartbreaking. I don't know Alice personally, but sending her so much love and support. So everyone is saying we didn't know, we haven't been hanging out with him that much to know, but then she's saying everyone knew, which is weird. There's definitely a discrepancy there, but regardless. Fraser posting a lot of statements. So he posts, this is when I found out about the Alex stuff. This is me messaging him after a creator made some tweets calling Alex basically terrible and something on the lines of the truth comes out. Further thing I knew before that was rumors said to me by someone who went to a party that he'd fallen out with his housemates after they apparently wrote things down of him saying it's a run-on sentence. Back when Alex was living with the people he lived with, I didn't really speak to him much. Dude kind of went MIA other than YouTube stuff as he had a new set of friends, which was pretty normal. Only summer after Alex started properly interacting with us in a server to play games. I've always been friends with him, seen Alex about once since 2023. The dude never discussed personal stuff with us, solely just YouTube and games. This was March this year when we thought they were still together or seeing each other, and then they keep on like basically debating on if they're still together or not, because obviously he doesn't talk to Alex much, so then they would see kind of them follow and unfollow each other on social media and discuss that. Even before the situation, Alex has been involved in a lot of stuff, but I've always been loyal to him as a friend and tried to stick by him even if he was perceived as a by a great many of people. Me and that man used to argue and fall out a lot, but last year when we started playing games together, I genuinely thought he was becoming a much better person and happier person, and I thought that was because he had finally settled down with someone, and that thought now makes me feel ill and an overwhelming amount of guilt. And then he discusses how after he found out everything, he deleted the podcast that he had with Alex because they had like a bit of a podcast going on, and that's why all the episodes got deleted, but they didn't address it since then. And then he talks about how he's had a toxic relationship of his own, like friendship with Alex, and they had many fallouts, and then obviously they stayed friends mainly for YouTube reasons, and then like he said, he thought Alex was becoming a better person. And yeah, he shows when he deleted the episodes, it was end of May 2024. I don't know. At this point, I think that's all there is. I think I covered the bases pretty well. This is now an incredibly long video. Do you see why I didn't add in the 40-minute long voice note? But I wish the best for Alice, I wish the worst for Alex, and I wish medium for everyone else, because I don't know who's right, who's wrong. But obviously let's just focus mainly on the Alice bit. That is awful. Now, actually, I'm not done. Since then, Alex has lost a bunch of subscribers. On his main channel, he has lost 80,000, and on his second channel, he has lost 24,000. So unless he comes out with a bulletproof statement that completely debunks everything, like Alice used deepfake AI against me, everything is photoshopped, everything is fake, my voice has been deep faked, he's not getting away with this, and I'm glad. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe with the bell icon for engagement. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.